Welcome everyone to Midwest Tree ID. On this channel, it is my mission to help you learn an abundance of trees that grow right here in the Midwest, and some key features on how to identify them. There's just one thing to clarify before we begin. We're not going to be throwing hatred or ridiculing any of the species that we're going to be talking about. But we do, however, want to encourage thoughtful conversation in the comments about personal experiences and things like that. Please try to remember that everything has value and that we are here to enjoy nature and everything it has to offer. So without anything else, let's jump right in. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. We're at the vet clinic in Urbana, Illinois. It's actually at the University of Illinois, and we are talking about Pinus ponderosa today, the Ponderosa pine. The Ponderosa pine is another one of those pines that is not used a whole lot in landscape much anymore. These ones behind me are actually very, very nice specimens, younger specimens, and that's why I'm really eager to get into talking about these with you guys. So Pinus ponderosa has got some of the really, really, really long needles in comparison to most of our other pines. They can range from 5 to even 10 inches in length, and they are in bunches of 3s. Sometimes they can be in bunches of 2s, but the key is to find those really, really long needles. That's going to be your big tip off there. And they are typically, although there is some what appears to be some sort of scale or something on these needles, but they are typically a very, very deep, rich green in color. No real hints of blue or anything like that, like what you might find on some of the other pines. And then as for the cones, these are going to be some of our larger cones in the area. The cones are typically about 2 to 3, maybe even 4 inches long, and a good 2 inches wide at the most broad point. And much like some of our other stiff-needled pines, like the Austrian pine, Scotch pine, red pine, these are going to be very, very stiff scales. And much like our other pines, like I've always said, this wind is killing me today. When the cones ripen, the scales open up and the seed disperses. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at the bark. And so the bark on the Ponderosa pine is going to be very platy or almost blocky, not real flaky as some of the other pines. And it's going to have a little bit of mixtures of reddish, kind of brown, mostly a brown blocky texture, with hints of orange and even a little bit of gray in there as well. That's pretty consistent on Ponderosa pine. So like I mentioned before, the Ponderosa pine is going to be one of our largest pines that grow in this area. I can't even really get the full thing in the shot. And they are very picturesque in maturity. And this one here is probably a good 70 feet, maybe 80 feet tall before the first branches even start. And that's pretty typical of older Ponderosa pines. And in this crowded area here, they typically aren't quite as uniformly branched as what you might see if they were out standing in the open. Now, the Ponderosa pine is not native to this area of the United States, although it is native predominantly in the southwestern states. It still can grow relatively well in the area, although it's typically not recommended due to a lot of disease problems, and it's not quite as hardy in this area as it is in its native range. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you guys next time. I got to get out of this wind.